guys, welcome back to another What Is It?
What is it? Come and see here at Manna University.
All right, so we are back. It's so good to see you all. It is the month of July. I don't know if you're one of those type of people who do like the Christmas in July thing, but that's like a thing. I think Hallmark is just like playing a crazy amount of Christmas movies. I wouldn't know. I'm not a Hallmark girl, but it's okay. We've got a new guest host. Hello.
Hello.
You are Carlos Sanchez.
Yes, I am.
I had to pronounce the Los because, our president, his first name is Carlo. So I had to make sure I did that, the hard at the end. Okay. So, welcome. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Do you do Christmas in July? Is that a thing?
No, it is not a thing in our household.
No, that's not a thing. Do you do Hallmark?
No, also not a thing.
It was the chuckle. Yeah, me neither. Okay. So before we get started, I want you to tell our viewers a little bit about who you are. We know that you are alum of Manna U. You are also faculty, but tell us a little bit more about who you are.
Well, it all started the day I was born.
Jesus.
I'm just kidding. How much time do we have? Yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Originally from Dallas, Texas, which by default makes me a fan of the Dallas Cowboys.
Does that mean you have to be a fan just because you're from there?
That's my hometown team. I was a little boy. I rooted for the hometown team. And so a lot of haters out there.
My hometown team is the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not a Kansas City Chiefs fan.
Well, maybe you should be.
Wow. This just went left.
All right. So originally from Dallas, Texas. When I was 17 years old or 18, I joined an organization called Youth with a Mission, or YWAM. And so I served as an overseas missionary for 3 years. I spent 2 months in Uganda and Kenya, and then 2 months in Taiwan. And so that was a great experience as a very young man, getting to see the nations and share the gospel. It really framed how I saw the world. And so did that for a few years, came back home to Dallas, got my associate's degree in journalism from Dallas College.
Okay.
Thought I was going to be like a sports journalist, and that's not what God had for me.
Okay, love that for you.
And so joined the military, and my plan was to do 4 years and get out, and 20 years and 27 days later, I'm a retiree of the U.S. Army.
Wow, you don't know how to count.
No, it did not work out. And it did work out.
Yeah,
I
it
enjoyed
worked
my
out
time.
great.
I enjoyed my time there in the military. While I was in the military, I was told, hey, you should probably get some civilian education that has to do with the military if you're going to make this a career. And so I did. I got some degrees that were focused on the military, and then God just started doing something in me, calling me back to ministry. I'd kind of walked away from that ministry call while I was in the Army. And I was like, I probably need some education from seminary, some biblical higher education. And so I got a Master of Arts in Theological Studies and then a Master of Religious Education, but I was still in the Army, so I wasn't doing anything really with those degrees. And then as I got closer to leaving the military, retiring from the military, that call was even stronger. I started doing ministry at the Manna Church Hope Mill site.
Yep.
And Ron McBride,
Okay.
we all love Ron McBride,
Call him Ron McBride.
often would say, I have a plan for your life.
Okay.
And God has a plan for your life, and so do I.
And so do I, yeah.
And so Ron's plan, which luckily linked up and lined up with God's plan, was to get me into the first cohort of our Doctor of Ministry course. And so there were 6 of us. And we got to graduate. We started under Grace College of Divinity, and then we got to graduate as Manna University students. Then Ron continued to impress
he had more
upon
plans.
me
Okay.
the importance of education, and I came back as a student to get my Master of Divinity. So I think I might be the only person in history who got his Doctor of Ministry then his MDiv. So the timeline's a little weird on that one.
Okay.
But it worked out because you need an MDiv to do chaplaincy, and I will soon be serving as a chaplain in the Coast Guard Auxiliary.
Come on.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then what I'm doing now is I'm working with a ministry called Tiller Coaching. I am it's free pastoral coaching for men, women, or men, couples, and pastors.
Okay.
We will not coach women one-on-one. That's not part of our ministry. So men, couples, and pastors. And so check us out, tillercoaching.org. And
Shameless plug.
I forgot to mention the most important part, my
Yeah.
family.
Okay, there you go.
I am
It's
married to someone who works at Manna University in the next office over from you.
Yep.
And she's amazing. And we have 4 kids.
She's my friend.
Yeah, she is your friend. That's good. And we have 4 kids, Kylie, Chloe, Luke, and Bonnie, ages 17, 15, 11, and 6. So we are still in it with all of the extracurriculars. We are doing a lot.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Okay, so that is great. You've done a lot, but you're also faculty.
I am, yeah. So I started as faculty in January of 2020. And so I started as a doctoral student in October of 2019. And just a few months after that, I was faculty for some of our undergraduate classes.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this Manna U Grace College of Divinity thing for quite some time.
Yeah.
In a total of a bunch of different pieces. And now you've even pulled your wife alongside.
Yeah.
You. Nice, very nice. So this season we have been trying to talk more to our students. So our first season of this podcast, we did a lot of conversations with pastors and a lot of conversations with friends of Manna U, but this season has been more focused on students and alum. And it just so happens that a lot of our student and alum are also either staff or faculty, or so it's kind of cool to see all that work out. And so that was the reason why you got an invite, because you are alum, but you also are faculty, and so you get the best of both worlds as someone who has done the student avenue of Manna U, and now you're doing the faculty avenue. And so a lot of our questions are going to pertain to that. So for those of you who are watching for the first time, we do 3 segments: educate, equip, and empower. Those are as you can see, they're there. So we're all about it, and so we try to keep our segments very specific to those. So we're going to start with educate. So you have experience at Manna University from both sides of the classroom, as a student and now as a faculty member. How has your perspective on education changed through that journey?
Yeah, I think one of the things that made the biggest impact on me is obviously the education here. The biblical higher education is amazing. It's outstanding. But the staff and faculty, when I was a student, truly cared about my personal well-being, my spiritual well-being. And so I've tried to carry that on now as faculty to really pour into the students outside of just the education. How are you doing personally? What ministries are you involved in? And so that's been very important for me as a student and now as faculty, is to go beyond education and truly care about our students' personal and spiritual well-being.
Yeah. You know, that is probably one of the number one things that we hear on this podcast, is that as a student, they were cared for outside of being a student, which is really cool, because when you think about it, a lot of times when you go to school, and this is not just in higher education, this is just in general, it feels like the only thing that is important is the education. And we forget that there's a whole other part of this human being that happens simultaneously with their education, and that's life. Now, it's even different when you're talking about higher education, because now you've added things like family and job and all of that. And so I think the idea that we take both portions of the student and make them equally important matters.
Yeah.
So it's just funny you say that because I feel like everybody says that, which means it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody can't be wrong, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be. Okay. Okay. So, in a culture where education is often viewed primarily as career preparation, how does Manna University's approach help students see education as preparation for God's purpose and kingdom impact?
Yeah. I think a lot of, even in biblical higher education, a lot of times it's, I'm getting this degree because it's required for the job that I want, the career that I want. And something that I've seen here is any class you can take, any class at Manna U, there is an inherent spiritual component. Like it will speak to you on a spiritual level, even if it's not theology or hermeneutics, a biology class, a history class. It's gonna speak to you spiritually, and God's using that to call out what students are called to, whatever ministries they're called to. There is something valuable in every Manna U class that I think God uses every single class without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. That's so good. I think I was actually talking to Stephanie earlier today. We were talking about classes, and she had made this crazy statement about not, being, wanting to go to school or whatever. It was a thing. And if y'all don't know, Stephanie is who is behind the camera, and she is turning red because I just put her on blast. I'm gonna pay for it later. Don't worry about it. But in the midst of that conversation, we were actually talking about the theology courses, and I had made this statement that was just really, I just believe it to my core, and it says, I feel like everybody who's a Christian should take a theology course.
100%.
If you don't do anything else, if you say, I just want this one thing, I'd be okay if everybody took one theology course.
Yeah.
Because, one, you're going to get the theology behind what we're doing here, like the true theology. But it goes back to what you were saying. There's a spiritual aspect behind every class. So it's going to naturally feed you educationally and spiritually. I don't think that school is not for everybody. I probably shouldn't say that, but I just did. But a theology course and then get the spiritual aspect behind it, I think it will level up people's relationships with the Father. Not saying that you need a theology course. Please don't put words in my mouth. Not saying that you need a theology course to level up that relationship. But man, if we had a better understanding of the Bible that we read, the inherent word of God, if we had a better understanding of it, can you imagine?
I think for any profession, I often think about musicians. For musicians who are writing worship songs, if they had a deeper understanding of theology, how much more powerful would those worship songs be? Accurately theological, biblically based. There's a lot of, I love top 40 Christian music. There's a lot of feeling good songs out there. But when you hear a theologically sound worship song, it speaks to your soul.
It's different. It hits different.
Yeah.
You're right. And so I agree with that. Like, it doesn't matter what field you're going in, even in, so we look at Stephanie, and she's our art producer, right? And not saying that she needs to, but I'm just saying, like, you think of even that, right? Because she's an art producer within the context of Manna University, that is a biblical higher education institution. Even the work that you do is more sound because you know and understand. So I think there's just, man, but you put the cap on it for me, the spiritual aspect that comes with every single course, no matter what, except for this one time.
Here we go.
We had this math class, y'all. It was, what was the name of that class? It was, I can't think of it because all I can think of is the devil. But I'm certain that wasn't the name of the class. Statistics was the name of the class. Statistics. That class,
No spiritual component to statistics.
I mean, it was spiritual warfare.
There we go. All right.
It was spiritual. It was spiritual warfare. That class, who Jesus, I was so grateful that I did not fail. Okay, um, let's go. That class was rough. Well, you want to talk about spiritual component? I fought for my life.
The spiritual warfare
Yeah,
aspect
it
of
was.
statistics.
Yeah, you didn't say it was good spiritual. You just said spiritual. I'm joking, guys. Kind of. Okay, let's jump into equip.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big one. Okay, so what specific tools, skills, or experiences during your time as a student most prepared you for the work God has called you to today?
Yeah, I don't want to sound like a broken record. I kind of already mentioned it. The faculty and staff truly caring for my calling.
Yeah.
And when I would say, hey, I think I'm called to this, it wasn't just a, hey, that's good, we'll pray for you. They would come back with, hey, have you heard about this organization? Have you tried out this ministry? They would come back with like very practical things that I could do to step into my calling. Um, Ron McBride, again, played such an important part of my growth.
Shout out to Ron McBride.
Love you, brother. He introduced me to the International Fellowship of Chaplains. That's who I'm ordained through. I'm an ordained chaplain through the IFOC. He introduced me to Impact Chaplains. That's who I have my ecclesiastical endorsement through. And so it was the staff and faculty going above and beyond saying, hey, if you're saying this is your calling, we're going to help you out, like in very practical ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was very impactful for me as a student.
And so now you are actually walking out. This is another one of those things we hear a lot of times, which for me is, it feels like it's unusual to hear how so many people are actually walking in the things that they went to school for.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you talked to somebody who's got this big education that they paid for and they're doing something completely different?
Yeah.
Whereas you are actually walking out the call of the degree and of your life.
Yeah. Nothing against the specific degrees I'm going to mention, but I've heard so many people say, I've got a degree in English, I'm not using it for English. I've got a degree in environmental science, I'm doing nothing in that world. I'm doing something completely different than why I got my education. And there were so many stories of students here at Manna U who they are doing the things that they got their education for. They're in ministry, they're serving as chaplains, civilian chaplains, military chaplains, they're pastors. I mean, there's so many people who got their education at Manna U who are doing what they got their education for, and it's I would say the percentage is probably astronomically higher than other universities.
Oh yeah, for certain and for sure. I don't know how many people I've met who said they have a journalism degree. And they're not doing journalism. This is not a shot at you in any way,
No.
shape, or form. But I have like 4 people on the top of my head who got journalism degrees, and none of them are doing journalism.
I coach a young man through Tiller Coaching who he has his bachelor's degree in journalism. He's not doing journalism. He's doing great things for the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
But he's
Glory.
not doing journalism.
He's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing
That's
for this.
right.
But I think that's my point, is that we hear these things and it's like, man, all that money that goes into these degrees that we're not using, and then you talk to these people at Manna U and they're practically walking out the very things that they got education in. For some, they start walking it out before they even graduate.
That's right. Yeah, I know a number of students who were, before they had graduated, were already involved in ministries using what they had so far of the degree in those ministries, then finished their degree, continued in those ministries, and went on to start new ministries. And so, yeah, it's amazing to hear the stories from students who are actually doing what they're called to do and using the biblical higher education here at Manna U.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so still in Equip, in your role as a faculty member, what do you hope every student leaves your classroom equipped to do or become?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I do when I teach a Zoom class, every class I'll say, hey, look, we're done with the class. We've had our Q&A. Class is over. I'm going to stay on Zoom. If you guys have any questions, it doesn't have to be about the class or Manna U,
Oh.
about life, about ministry.
Oh, really? That's
That
cool.
has generated so many conversations with young men that I've been able to either myself coach and mentor, or um, point them in a direction where they can get what they were looking for. And so again, that's the beyond the education piece. That's the, hey, I'm like truly concerned about your personal well-being, your spiritual well-being. How can I help you? How can I use my lived experience and the wisdom that God's given me to pour into you beyond the education?
Mm, that's so cool. I did not know you did that.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So how long do you typically stay on?
I'll stay on as long as they want to talk. Usually it's a ministry question. Sometimes it's a life question.
Yeah.
So many of our students are married, have kids, have part-time jobs, full-time jobs, so they got a lot going on. And so there are life questions, ministry questions, and it's like, hey, let's finish this conversation as long as it takes. Yeah.
Do you have, what do you do? Because I know a lot of your coaching usually is with men. What do you do when the ladies have questions?
Yeah. So I had a student recently. She's in ministry and she had some questions, and so was able to answer all those questions. But I'm always thinking through: is there a strong woman of God that I can connect her with as well?
Yeah.
Because it's just a different type of relationship
Yeah, for sure.
to pour in to young ladies who have a calling on their lives. And so I your name comes up a lot.
Oh,
So
fun. Yay.
so I'm just like, hey, everyone go to D. She's got plenty of white space in her life to coach and mentor
Wow.
you. Yeah, there's some people that come up repeatedly, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I've got to expand that because I'm probably overloading some people by only recommending a couple of.
But that's actually not a bad idea of having just a list of people that you can connect with, especially for the females. Because, of course, you got Tiller Coaching. Shout out to Tiller Coaching, by the way. You've got Tiller Coaching, but that's for the guys, right? And the ladies need that coaching just as well. So having a list of ladies that you trust, that you've had that conversation with, to say when you get those questions, because I imagine this cool thing that you do with your Zoom is not going to stop anytime soon. It sounds like it's extremely helpful.
Yeah.
And so having that list of ladies that you can help them to when those questions get outside of your realm wouldn't be a bad idea. I love that. That is super cool. You should put it in a suggestion box somewhere that it just takes place across the board. Okay. All right, now we're gonna move to Empower, and everybody knows this is Dee's favorite. I love Empower. So as both a student and a faculty member, how have you seen the university empower students to discover and pursue their purpose?
I think just through the nature of our courses, whether it's discussion board questions, assignments, if students don't already feel like they know what their calling looks like specifically through answering these are assignments that they're getting grades on, but because they are so personal and spiritual, they're finding things out about themselves like, oh, I'm actually interested in this. I know there are some assignments where in certain classes, hey, you need to go find a ministry and evaluate the ministry and spend some time there. And so they're doing it as an assignment. But when they get there, they realize, I think this might be part of my calling. I think I really have a heart for these people. And so just the fact that our assignments are geared towards the spiritual as well. Students are finding out their callings through school assignments, which is crazy but cool at the same time.
Yeah, that is crazy. I as a current student, I can agree with that. Like, I kind of have an idea what my calling is, but there is some level of enlightenment that comes every time. I just did this one assignment that's about, because I'm in a class about addiction right now. And so I just did this one assignment, and it just took my understanding of addiction to a whole nother level. And not just addiction, but how to deal with those who are genuinely walking through recovery. And so even as someone who's pretty secure in what I believe God has called me to, I'm still learning things about what that call looks like. And I'm doing that through my courses.
I had an assignment that was basically I needed to act as a ministry consultant to some ministry. We used to have the Manna Dream Center microsite. And so I decided to do that assignment at the microsite specifically. And I had not been involved in that type of ministry in a number of years. And day one, I was like overwhelmed, and I was like, well, I'm just doing this for the assignment. This is not the ministry I'm called to. And had a hard conversation with God after that. And he was like, why not? Why isn't this the ministry? And it caused me to step away from the Hope Mill site for 1 full year and focus all my ministry at the Manna Dream Center microsite.
Really?
That was years ago. And without that experience, I don't think I would have taken on the director role of Fayetteville Cares had I not spent a year at the Dream Center. And I only did that because I had an assignment.
So good. I got no rebuttal for that one. That was just too good. Okay. Can you share a moment in your own journey when Manna University empowered you to step into, so you clearly talked about this a little bit, but when Manna University empowered you to step into leadership role or calling you may not have otherwise pursued?
Yeah, I think it was always in the back of my mind that I wanted to teach, instruct, be an adjunct professor. And so when that was offered to me, I jumped at the opportunity. I did not think beyond that in biblical higher education. And we say something around here, sometimes believe more for others than they believe for themselves.
That's right.
And so after, I think, only a trimester of serving as an adjunct professor, I was asked if I wanted to serve as a program director. And I had not thought about serving at that level. I took that on. I remember I sent an email, and it was first year musings of a first year adjunct professor. And I had these 5 ideas, and I was like, hey, I think we can do these 5 things at Manna U. And I think it got sent all the way up to our president at the time, Dr. Stephen Crowther, and he provided his feedback, came back down to me, and it was essentially like, 3 of these things we're not going to do, 2 of these things, let's move forward with them. And so here's a first year adjunct professor who's stepping into a program director, and the president of the university says, hey, I want you to move forward with these 2 ideas that you had. I was empowered to like create things that we didn't have here yet, and that one of those was Omega Nu Lambda. So we did not have a chapter of Omega Nu Lambda here. We started that under Grace College of Divinity. I served along with Stephanie Ertel as the faculty advisor for Omega Nu Lambda, and I just transitioned out of that role, and Dr. Joshua Thomas is now the faculty advisor for Omega Nu Lambda.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. That's awesome. Okay, now explain to everybody, because you said adjunct professor a few times, but not everybody knows what that means.
Okay.
So you might want to explain it.
Yeah, so you're not a full-time professor. We don't have professors on faculty here. It is all part-time in an adjunct capacity. I am attaching myself to this university and teaching whatever courses that I have for that trimester. So not a full-time professor, part-time. And I would love to see the day when we have full-time professors on staff. And so excited to see if that comes down the pipeline.
Yeah, I mean, Manna University is growing in our capacity and our students. And so, no, I can absolutely see that being a thing at some point. But that's really cool. Okay, last question for Empower. There is someone on the other side of that camera who is on the fence about starting school at Manna University, and they need to be empowered. What do you say to them?
Do it.
Okay.
Jump in. Jump right in. Whether your name's Stephanie or any other name, just jump in. There's no doubt in my mind that there is spiritual benefit to jumping into a course at Manna U. We have some opportunities to try it out. You can audit a course.
Yeah.
I imagine you could ask to just sit in on one class and see what that looks like. There's no detriment to taking a class at Manna U.
No.
There is only benefit personally and spiritually.
Yeah. You can also do the Manna U Leadership Institute.
That's right.
That one's actually free. So if you want more information on that one, you can go to mannau.edu. I think it's /Muli, MULI. So that's a good one for people who aren't quite sure. They want it, they think they want it, but do I really want it? Well, Muley is a great way to get started, which we talked a little bit about last month when we had, no, month before when we had Dr. Serrano on. So yeah, I agree. Just do it now. Now when we say do it, there's process to that, right? And we understand that there's finances and things like that, but we are an accredited university, so we do have things like financial aid, and we offer military benefits, and there's even scholarships. So don't let money be the reason why you miss out on something that God is clearly calling you to. Okay, bonus question.
Here we go.
You ready?
Well, we'll see.
Okay. You can't say Jesus.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. If you could pick a person from the Bible to be your bestie,
Wow.
who would be your Bible bestie? Jesus is everybody's bestie, so you can't pick him. But you got anybody else?
Wow.
Who's your Bible bestie?
I'm kind of torn between Peter and Paul.
Peter and Paul. Wow.
I think when you look at their stories, what they did for God and spreading the church and the gospel, just amazing. I probably relate more to Peter. We know that Peter was he was quick to say something before thinking it through. It's happened to me a lot in my life where I've had to maybe walk something back.
We're laughing because we just did this question on our other podcast.
Okay.
And Stephanie said the same exact thing.
Oh, wow.
So we're just chuckling because it's like, wow.
There's no doubt in my mind if I was in Peter's position when they came to get Jesus
Period.
and he sliced off the dude's ear,
Period.
like without question, like yeah, I'm defending my dude. Like,
Period. Don't think at all. Just start swinging swords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Paul, just amazing. The way that God came into his life and that Jesus was made real to him and that he was on fire and he just went for it. And whether it was in the midst of beatings in prison, he's like, I'm sharing the gospel.
Period.
And so, yeah, it's a toss-up between Peter and Paul.
Okay. It's a toss-up between Peter and Paul. So maybe if you didn't have to pick between the two of them, you could see the three of y'all rolling deep.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right, so who's the level-headed one?
Oh, wow. Probably in that scenario, Paul.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Peter and I are just feeding off of each other.
Yeah. And Paul is sitting back doing like.
He's like, guys, stop sharpening your sword. Stop cutting off ears. We're not doing
where's
that.
your Bible?
Yeah.
Okay, I love it. This is so good. Thank you so much for coming on. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you for what you're doing as faculty at Manna University. Keep doing it because I think I don't know this for sure, but I can just only imagine that one thing that truly got my attention. That one thing that you're doing at the end of your Zoom calls is life-changing.
Yeah.
I can only imagine that it's changing lives to have this open forum. We've got all the school stuff out the way. Not saying but like we've done the requirement for this class, for this particular Zoom. Now let's have some discussion. I can only imagine that it is changing lives, and someday I'm going to have one of your students on this podcast. I am not a prophet, so I am not prophesying this, but I just can see having one of the students that you've had sitting in that very chair, and I'm going to ask them the question, and they're going to say, it was Dr. Sanchez because every time he did a Zoom, he gave us opportunity to ask real questions, and it changed lives.
Yeah. I've had students who I've done that with, and they've stayed on after the Zooms. They've now graduated, and I would call some of them friends and even ministry partners.
Wow.
And it all started with just making myself available after a Zoom.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Now I'm just going to go and tell all the faculty they got to be like Dr. Carlos Sanchez. It was phenomenal having you on. You and I are actually pretty good friends. Like this guy, okay, let me tell you a funny story real quick, and then I'm going to let you guys go. He almost made me hit him one day because he scared me. And y'all know some of us don't scare well. We swing.
I was far enough away. I made sure
He's smart.
I'd built in enough physical space
He's smart.
that I could scare her, but also still be safe.
Yeah, and then I found out that you tend to do that quite often with your wife.
I love it. It's so fun for me.
Wow. She says, yes, if I walk into a room and he's not sitting on the couch, I start doing this because he's probably somewhere prepared. All I can think of is those Instagrams when somebody's head is like laying on the ground.
Yeah.
But did you see the one where that person got kicked in the face?
I did not see that one.
Yeah. That's what I could imagine would happen with me. Do not do that to me. We are going to let you guys go, but before we do, like, share, subscribe, follow anywhere you receive this content. We are on Apple Podcasts. We are on where else are we?
YouTube?
Spotify,
Okay.
YouTube. You're right. All the places. We are so grateful. Thank you so much. Join us here next month. Bye.
What is it? Come and see. Here at Manna University.